Hello and welcome to Neon Lights Roleplay. We are back with a long-awaited revamp of Tavern Tales. It is a series where we will have new GMs, new players, new systems every episode once a month. Um, we're so excited that you've joined us. Thank you all for tuning in. Um, this has been a long-awaited one-shot of ours playing the Skeletons RPG. But before we start, we have a couple of housekeeping items um, to address before we get into our adventure at hand. Happy Black History Month. Guess what? It's still Black History Month, and Neon Lights is still shouting out creators and doing charity initiatives. The first of which, the charity that we are shouting out this week and raising money for on Tiltify is Black Girl Ventures. It is a charity that is creating access and capital to Black and Brown women entrepreneurs, which you can find information for that on our Tiltify link that hopefully we still have the command for. It didn't work yesterday, but maybe it will today. Okay, it didn't. Check out our social media because it's linked there. And we've been shouting it out every day on there. I'm so sorry. I'm not sure what's going on with our bot. Um, but it's out there. We have the campaign for it. Please just go check it out. And then as a continued celebration, we are talking about our favorite TTRPG creators in the space for Black History Month. And the one that I am shouting out today is a creator that I have followed for quite a while in the space. They go by the name Brito. It is BR 3E's EEEDO underscore. They've been doing a lot of actual plays and stuff for quite a while in the space. They also do a bunch of personal streams and things like that. They've done fantastic cosplays as well, so definitely go check them out on pretty much every social media as that. They also have merch that I'm actually wearing tonight because it was very fitting. Let's see. Yeah, it's Skull Fam. We can see it on the camera. I was just like, oh my gosh, one of my favorite creators, and we're playing skeletons. This is the perfect intersection right there. Is by far one of the most comfortable hoodies that I've bought online. So go check out their merch. Go support them. And go check out all the other Black creators that we've shouted out throughout this month. Because there are so many. There are just so many. But other than that, all that's left is to introduce ourselves. So, hi everybody, it's me, Sir Heckalot. You know, I'm legally obligated to say that every episode at this point. I will be your facilitator for tonight, leading our skeletons through our passage of time. How much time will pass? Only this one shot will tell. But other than that, let's introduce our lovely players, starting in our top left corner with Danny.
I was ready. Hi, I'm Danny, or Danny's Corner, pretty much everywhere. It's me. I'm Danny. My pronouns are she, they, at Animated Pizza on Twitter, and yeah, I'm happy to be here. You little skeleton.
Yeah.
Should I say the skeleton I'm being? Is that the thing I should have mentioned?
Go for it. Go for it.
Hi, I'm gonna be the headless.
Yes, there are many different, essentially like different types of skeletons that have different questions about them that they're going to be answering about their pasts throughout this. The headless is one of them, and we'll continue with our other ones. Going to our bottom left, Janie.
Janie Pot 7575 on the social medias that I signed up for that I can't remember right now. But I signed up for them and I have accounts. Do I post? Yeah, totally post sometimes.
Like, I see them. I like them.
Yeah, you're wonderful.
All right.
I don't know what else I was going to say, but I'm playing a fancy skeleton. I forget. Wait, what's it actually called? It's fancy. Silver Tort.
Yeah.
Fancy.
Very fancy. All right. And last but certainly not least, we have Casper.
Hi, I'm Casper the MB Ghost. I am a Black Cherokee sapphic writer of sci-fi, fantasy, and horror. You can follow me anywhere at Casper, Instagram and Twitch now at Casper the NB Ghost, and on Twitter at Casper the NB Wolf. Don't ask questions. I'm playing the tattered cloak for reasons.
Which we will get into. There's a lot of mystery around each of our skeletons. But let's go ahead and open our scene as I put on some music. Okay. So, our scene starts not where we would expect to find skeletons at first. We are at a very well-lit tavern of various patrons, various people serving drinks and food with raucous laughter ringing through the entire room. There's a warm fireplace, and people generally just seem to be living their lives as normal. But the camera begins to pan down and go past the floor of this tavern, go past the empty storeroom with nothing moving about, just barrels. It goes past the sewers that run beneath wherever this city may be, until we fall on a completely undisturbed tomb. The air is stale, undisturbed, and the cobblestone that makes the flooring has long since cracked. No one has been here for a very long time. But here rest our skeletons. An indeterminate amount of time has passed since they have been awakened, but today is the day that they will awaken. And I have to roll for why you all awaken. I will do right now. Actually, I'm gonna use a d6 for this because there's only 3 options.
I just realized I should probably get a document for this to keep track of. This is a narrative game.
I mean, that's fantastic note taking. You don't have to do that, but
I'm atrocious
I
at note
appreciate
taking,
it.
but I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
We're gonna try.
All right.
What is this note taking you speak of?
So it's a thing where you open a Google Doc and it stays empty for 3 hours.
Oh, I could try that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, as you all are peacefully resting, and wherever your crypts may be, there is this sound of skittering, and the camera pans down the hallway that you all rest to see these sets of various eyes glinting into the camera. As it comes more into focus, you see it is a bunch of grave rats that have somehow infiltrated where you all are. An echoing voice will resound through each of your consciousnesses as you regain them. An intruder threatens your ward. Awaken, skeletons. And as you do, I would like each of you to describe what we see coming out of these crypts.
I can go first. You will see a there is no flesh on these bones. There is only the remains of a once fanciful cloak. There with a lined fur hood, and like a battle scarred sword that like drags behind me. There was the rim there's like patches and remnants of like strings of hair like across my skull, and I am missing my bottom jaw and maybe a few ribs. But my you can see that my bones have been broken and rehealed throughout my life. Um, so I done been through some things. As I stumble upward, like towards these intruders. Again, the sword is very heavy, so I'm just dragging it behind me. It is caked with like it's caked with rust, but it still sparks as it as the metal comes in contact with the stone.
Yes, the old metal scrapes against the stone floor as you pass by. Whoever wants to describe their skeleton next.
I can do it. I can do a thing. So as this metal scrapes by, we see a skeleton that looks all in all for being in a crypt for who knows how long. Seems pretty as pristine as a skeleton in a dusty crypt could be. There are no scars, there's no broken bones until you keep looking up and you get to sort of where the neck bone would be, and there is no head. And you see there seems to be a few small cracks that run down those sort of neck bones that I don't know the medical terms for. Um, but those ones. Um, and you see, of note, there is this sort of what appears to maybe be a bracelet, like a circular bracelet that hangs on their left arm. Uh, that is sort of hanging loose by where their wrist would be, and it seems to be like a charm of a moon sort of connected to it. And on their other side is a mace. It looks like a sort of a plain mace. It's pretty small and it sort of fits well, almost like it was sort of made for what their hand probably would have been. Um, but it's not until this message goes through that a light sort of starts to flicker, at first from an unknown source, like almost from nothing, where in the sort of space of the wall where they're leaning against, and then flickering to life, almost like a light bulb, is this sort of magical you don't know if it's a some sort of like false picture or some just it's this magical orb that maybe came to life, but you see these two almost maybe like the rings you would see around Saturn, two rings that are circling and hovering this crescent moon shape, and the small little wispy magical particles that are orbiting these three celestial bodies that seems to sort of spring to life. And in this sort of flash, the skeleton is up to their feet, um, and the little bracelet on their arm has started to levitate a bit, or of hovering around their arm instead of like falling off when it probably should, because it looks like it's a bit too big. But it's hovering sort of in place, and it almost is like it the head the head flashes a couple times with light, and then the body looks towards their fellow skeleton that is dragging the sword along the ground, and almost like this is something they're used to. This is their calling. They take the mace and hold it with both hands, and they straighten up with excellent posture, excellent readiness to assist, and they follow.
Fantastic. And with this flash of light that illuminates the entire hallway for just a brief moment, almost causing these dwellers of the darkness, these rats, to flinch a little bit for a second, the light shines upon our third skeleton.
The third skeleton is a doesn't appear to bring to life right away. the skeleton, it looks like they should be in an anatomy classroom. They are completely smooth and a little bit of the sheen. And there's this beautiful silver torque, which is it's like a necklace that goes on your collarbone, but it's not something that comes off. And it's really, really elaborate, and it's got little jewels on it and sparkles. And you can see the skeleton also has a sword that's also made of the same silver with the same sparkly patterns all over it. And the skeleton does not move at first. And the other two would get a little ways down before the skeleton slowly. You can almost imagine that in life the skeleton would have been yawning and complaining, but slowly goes behind the other ones very quietly. Like you don't hear any bones rattling or anything. The skeleton must have taken ballet or something because they are walking very quietly and as gracefully as the skeleton can behind the others, just annoyed.
Perfect. But reluctantly, your companion joins the two of you as the three of you stand side by side, looking at the intruders that this calling has warned you of. Um, there are rather large rats, a little, a little larger than your just like your garden variety. They've definitely lived and grown down here and had to have fought several of their own fights to have gotten to look this tough. Um, but how do you all elect to drive away such small, agile creatures and prevent them from coming back?
I'm not going anywhere near those rats. The other two will have to take care of them. I will stay back and make sure that my sword is still shiny.
Which, yeah, I'm not
Beautiful.
sure how we're gonna handle like communication between the skeletons yet, but it's fine if you all just like can telepathically communicate or like you just do like gestures or something at each other. Like that's totally up to you.
Great. I think my skeleton, this little celestial body skeleton, is they seem to be turning back and forth, not in like a panic, but in sort of a looking for direction sort of sense from the two. They see one is stuck back and is focusing and polishing their weapon. So they sort of turn to the other one and have their mace at the ready and sort of just waiting. There's a little flicker in the light of their little moon. Hold on. Casper.
I muted myself. I forgot that I
It's
muted
okay.
myself. My skeleton is going to swing the sword, not up, but just create a wall of sparks in front of these creatures. Like just yeah, it's just like a half circle. It looks like it takes a lot of effort for them to just move it, but they just swing it back and forth, trying to create as much light and light and noise as a barrier between themselves and these creatures, these
Absolutely.
intruders.
You do so, and almost in this circular pattern that you're doing, this almost crescent shape matching your companion's crescent. You're creating these sparks, and these rats are just recoiling, squeaking in protest. Is there any question on your character sheet that you would like to answer at this current moment? What about this experience might trigger a memory to answer one of those questions?
Uh, hmm. Okay. Um, sorry, my memories is literally just a list of names, and I'm like, okay,
No,
cool.
I know. I that's it for everybody. It's okay.
Uh, it reminds me of the time Dola and I were romping around in the hay in the farm, and she screamed the second there was a rat like by her head. It's like we were having a good time, and then all of a sudden we roll over, and then boom, there's a critter, and she booked it out of there. I remember it being a field mouse, but I also distinctly remember her screaming, "Oh my god, it's a rat!" and running out of the barn.
And kind of in a similar way, you remember that rat scampering off at you all screams. Um, one of the rats scampers off and thinks that being here is definitely not worth the amount of trouble that they're getting. What are the other two of you doing?
I don't have any nails, but I'm checking my nails.
Ah, yeah,
Yeah.
goddamn girl, those phalanges.
Those phalanges. Hot phalange season. I think I do the little like flash towards the skeleton checking their non-existent nails. And then I do a little flash towards the front in the front, sort of scraping the sword around. And I look at the sort of crescent shape that's being made. And there's a smaller flash, and then there's a small red there's like a small of a damn a set of small red flashes um that if any of you if the skeletons knew Morse code would be saying would be essentially spelling out uh close no sorry look away. um and then they suddenly they grip their mace and sort of hunch a little bit, or no, they sort of crouch to the ground to get closer to these rats, and sort of being a bit behind this large tattered cloak skeleton, they suddenly flash a very bright light emanates from their little space head, quote unquote. um and in that same question, say sort of a large, like almost beam of magical light just shoots out towards these rats as a way to get them away because they don't seem to like light.
Okay, yeah. That certainly makes an impact. It looks like it is daytime underground for this brief second. The two of you, if you still had eyes inside your skulls, you feel almost this ghost pain of, you realize it should hurt, but it doesn't. So there's this ghost pain kind of left over from um the light being shown, but it certainly hurts quite a few of these rats, and a couple more of them scamper off, a bit dazed from getting temporarily blinded, but they get on their way and scamper off.
Does the light like reflect off of my silvers and gemstones really quickly?
It
And
does. It looks really nice. And I
Coral.
think, yeah, I think that would actually invite. Yeah, I think that would actually invite the two of you to answer a question on your character sheet if you would like. You
Ooh.
shining the light, and then our silver torque, by just kind of admiring your appearance, and then also like taking in this light on the silver that's almost a part of you at this point. What does that remind you of?
For me, I think in that flash, it goes back to a time of I'm reminded of the time of the by name I was given that described my greatest accomplishment in the lands. And that by name was, and let me ask a question. Is a by name like a nickname, that like a title you're given? Is that
Yeah,
what
pretty much.
Great, thank you. Just making sure I was on the right track. Was essentially called God, I had it. Wait. Uh 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 oh my God. I had it. Sorry, give me a second.
No worries.
um The Face in the Light.
Ooh.
And I'm reminded of the time because it shines back to a time when there was a great battle happening, and the people I was with were losing against this other group of people, and it's not very distinguishable in this memory who was fighting for what or what's happening. The general idea is that this battle and the people I care about are hurting and losing, and as it was described as a moment where a lot of people saw that they were going towards the light. They suddenly saw a hand reach out and bring them back from the brink, and it was a moment where I was able to heal magically a large number of people at once, um, and bring them back in a way that they could recover and turn the tides of this battle. Um, and then I was given the title of the Face in the Light because when people were going towards the light and thought that was it for them, the first thing they saw when they came back was me, and it brought them back. And I reminded of that time as
Very
that light
cool.
shines brightly, and then it comes back. It's sort of when it dims again, it's sort of just I'm still standing there as patient as ever, holding my mace, just waiting for instruction.
So you
Very
were a
cool.
cleric in your past life. Good to know.
Yeah, well-balanced party. Actually, not even intentionally, you just are.
we just look at how
If
we
not
did
in one life, this life now.
that.
All right. Oh yeah, go ahead, Jenny. Yeah.
What? Oh my gosh, I can't talk. What was I supposed to say again?
No, you're good.
It's just if there was anything from this encounter that might trigger a memory to answer one of the questions on your character sheet.
Um, hmm. I just picked a random one. Who here among the skeletons is kin to you, and what is your relationship? So,
Ooh.
um, hmm. This is too hard. I'm doing it. Can I switch my question?
Yeah,
Yes.
you can answer. It doesn't matter what order you do it in.
That's so
It's
fair.
totally fine. But yeah, like these relationship questions between the skeletons is like what really makes this game tick.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my name was Florence. I was Florence the skeleton. No, that wasn't my name in life. That would be a weird name to have in life, I think.
Lawrence the skeleton. It's me. Oh my gosh, that'd be very funny. Um, but okay. Yeah, a name as beautiful as the silver that still adorns your skeleton. It rings through your ears as this wave of light causes this additional wave of rats that are intruding the crypt to eventually ebb, and the ones that were kind of at the back of the pack realize that this is definitely a losing battle, and um, they end up just scampering away. Um, as let's see, I get to choose something that happens. By choose, I mean I'm gonna roll for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go with no, let's go with the glory fades table. That sounds cool. So we're gonna do that one. All right. Okay. So I rolled a 4, so this is going to be something that affects the tomb, basically. The glory fades table is something that's going to affect the environment that you all are in.
Mhm.
So the place where a skeleton stands watch is covered in debris and becomes impassable. So I will say, from the massive upset of these rodents trying to get away very quickly, a couple of them, what was that accent? A couple of them um, get into these various cracks in the walls, whatever crevice they can get into just to get away, and it disturbs the wall just enough that this one edge of the hallway just entirely caves in, and becomes impassable. You're currently at a dead end, but we'll see if that affects anything. Um, yeah, some of these affect like specific, like well, not specific skeletons, but like we'll get to choose among the table who it affects, and that's going to be really interesting. Um, but okay, so with that, the voice calls you to rest again. The intruder has left, and you all return to your respective resting places. Um, and some more time passes. We are going to decide how much.
You believe I got out of bed for that?
I know, just some rats, imagine.
It's a
All
flash
right.
of recognition.
I don't have a bottom jaw, so I have no comment on it.
So what is very cool about playing this game in person is that depending on how much time, like whether it's a day or a month or a week or whatever passes, you turn off the lights and you sit in silence for a certain amount of seconds. We're not going to do that here because that's very awkward for stream. Personally, I don't want to sit for 20 seconds of silence. That feels very awkward to me. It'd be very cool in person. That'd be an awesome experience. I don't think our audience wants to see that either.
We could try to
Someone raids Laura in the 20 seconds of screaming. It's just like
They cut into us sleeping. Like,
exactly. Yeah, imagine a raid coming. Oh no, that would or
nightmare.
So what we do is we have to make each other laugh. Whoever laughs gets the advantage or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Whoever laughs
Alright.
first has to go
Oh,
first.
I didn't realize the music didn't repeat. I am so sorry.
Okay, we were in it.
You really wanted us to
We
do
were
that.
absolutely in it. Oh no. Okay, we're gonna do this one. All right. As you all are resting. And of course, there's no real concept of time when you're at rest in a crypt. It's just as silent on most days as others. But another intruder is going to befall this crypt. Gotta roll for it. Okay. The camera pans to what looks like just a normal patch of wall that is on the side that didn't become impassable. Nobody rests here. It just looks like a completely nondescript patch of wall. But as music builds a little bit, the face of some type of spirit, this old, ancient being that has long since decayed past the bones that you all still have. It passes completely through the wall. It's this old, knightly looking figure, and various armor has a very long, thick beard, rather unkempt, and is carrying a great sword, resting it on one shoulder, as it just drifts to the middle of the hallway, as a voice echoes out through each of your consciousnesses again. An intruder approaches. Skeletons, awaken.
You dare summon me? I scream to the abyss in my head. I do the same thing I did with the rats, except for this time seeing that this homeboy's got a great sword and I've got my bastard sword, which is like a great sword except for baby. I stand to face this challenger, lifting this sword above in front of my face and ready to strike as soon as he comes into range.
Absolutely. The two of you brandish your swords at each other. This undead standoff, if you will. What are the other two of you doing?
I would again awaken the little crescent moon celestial thing beaming to life again in this flash of light. And again, immediately up on my feet, I look between these two, and in my mind, it's sort of there's this. I think there's a little thought that reaches out to everybody's minds. And it's more of an idea, but it's the idea of a duel. And so I sort of go to stand sort of not in between the two, but like sort of in that space where I'd be standing in between two, but I'm like sort of giving them space. So I'm like standing back a bit, but I'm in like the middle space where they would meet. And then I step a little bit closer to the side of the tattered cloak to show who I am allied with. And then I look to this new challenger and give the idea of oh god, hold on. What am I thinking? What is it when you have what is it what they have when they have like in duels when they had like a second person who was like
I think they're called a second.
A second.
Yes. If I remember watching Hamilton way too many times.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. So yeah, it's the idea of a second that gets projected with that little little glow to that challenger.
Okay, so Florence is not happy with this because she was getting some beauty rest. So she's going to make a point to march over there, try to get the guy's attention, just kind of glaring. Maybe, I don't know what she would have to do. Like fold her arms, glare, slap him or something. And then her intention is to do that and march back over and make a big point of looking like she's asleep again.
Do you go up and try to slap this ghost?
Yes, because I want him to know I need to go back to get some more rest, and he's interrupting it. He needs to get his own tomb.
Okay. So you go up and arms crossed, which is quite a sight with just bones.
Crossed.
Bones crossed. But you go up and surprisingly the bones of your hand does make contact with this ghost. You slap it square across its face. It feels, you would imagine, cold if you still had the skin to feel it. Again, like there are all these phantom sensations that you feel from doing anything in reaction to something else as you're defending the tomb. But as you are slapping this ghost across the face, is there a question on your character sheet you would like to answer? What memory might be triggered by an experience like this?
You get a memory of slapping somebody.
It says, you know what? Whom did you once love? So this person reminds me of an ex person that I just had a soap opera moment with. Then there was a slapping and storming off, and probably somebody fell down some stairs.
The drama.
There was a lot of
drama. Past all of the armor and the beard and everything, you see the face of someone you once knew. someone that has wronged you in the past. As your hand makes contact and goes across, and it almost the spirit just looks confused more than anything. If it could look confused, it was not in this lover's plural whatsoever. It's just a guy. But he almost like is too much in shock to do anything as you just kind of go away to your own crypt and just go back to rest without the voice telling you to. But the spirit refocuses on the other two, and is going to engage in battle with the tattered scarf, as your swords clash. And you're also muted again.
No, I was saying cloak, not scarf. Tattered
Oh.
cloak. Yes.
Oh, did I say oh my god. I'm sorry. I didn't even
We're doing
my
great.
brain is on autopilot sometimes when I just like start talking apparently.
No, you're fine. I do the exact same thing. Go ahead.
But yeah, as your two blades clash again, as this seemingly immaterial threat becomes corporeal as you engage with it. What are the two of you doing?
I am facing it head on, parrying his attacks and lunging on my own. Those are the only two swordplay things that I know. So parry and lunge.
I mean, that's good.
Yeah. I move, like, getting up to this point, I was pretty staggered and like hefty. But now that I'm engaged in battle, I am light on my feet, dancing around this. As like not shying away from strikes. Like, I will take a hit to the shoulder if I can get him like underneath whatever plate armor he has. Like, I'm in it and I am good.
Yes, it's almost a reawakening of skills as well as the other two of you, at least other one of you. I'm not sure if you're already asleep yet, Silver Torque. But you're watching as there's almost this reawakening of skill, despite there not being musculature to add to these bones. It's almost like a muscle memory as the two engage in these combats, and this spirit gives quite a fight. It's managing to block with this massive sword a decent amount of your strikes, but a couple are making purchase. What memory
Sorry.
might this?
I was just gonna say, every time that he counters and like everything, you can tell I'm having more and more fun.
Yeah. if you had your bottom jaw, you could see the smile, but you don't. So just the top. Yeah. What question might this answer for you?
Do you know me, sir? I am Sir Amadeus. Asmodeus, my bad. I can't read my own handwriting. Asmodeus. My name was or I was called in my life Sir Asmodeus. And I was good.
Yeah, as you say the name, you almost feel like the hue of the spirit pales a little bit as a name rings out. Very cool. And yeah, that leaves our third skeleton. What are you doing?
Listen, there's a duel happening, and if sorry, there's a teapot going off on the computer. If I can answer a question already that
Yes,
sort of
please
plays into
do.
this. You see, as I imagine, it's sort of like the clashing of these swords and sparks are flying around sort of in front of this sort of their like in front of their skeleton. There if this was a show with a camera panning, you would see like the little flashes of these sparks, and then the flashes sort of become more and more, and they flash into a memory for me. And it goes into where I was standing at what looks to be a medical tent. And it seems like it shows a scene of similarly a duel happening in this sort of courtyard area, where these two knightly figures were going at it with these sort of short swords, and one in particular with let's see, I have to make up a description really quickly in my head, with sort of dark skin and black hair, like curly black hair that sort of is pulled back in a very tight ponytail, and they're just wearing this silver armor, sort of kicks down on this person, holds their sword to their throat, and it just declared that they've won this duel. And this person seems to walk past all of the different medical tents, the different people coming to offer this post-battle sort of services, and they come right up to me. And they there's sort of like a name. It looks like maybe a name is said, but it's sort of like blotted out, and it's like everything is sort of in like this weird sort of audible, like muffly sound until it gets to this person saying my love, and in what I can only assume to be my voice says yes, Ursana, my beloved, you are amazing. And that was whom I once loved.
My heart. I'm starting to feel for these skeletons so much. They loved people. But yeah, the rings of these swords clashing kind of reminds you of the sounds that you would hear outside this medical tent. And as you were, watching our tattered cloak engage in this duel, you realize that this is fairly evenly matched, and that they're gonna be able to handle it. Your companion is good, and with that, the tattered cloak is going to strike purchase right wherever they wish to aim their sword and dispatch our ghoul that has intruded on the crypt.
When with a mighty swing of my sword, I'm gonna go like over my head and then knock off his. I am Sir Asmodeus, slayer of dragons, wooer of women, conqueror of men. Fear me, mortal, for I am above you.
Amazing.
I'm gonna say that Florence is not back asleep yet, and she's watching this.
Oh, just like peering around the corner.
And she just kind of like nods to herself, I guess, and then after the whole battle's over, then she goes back to sleep.
Okay. Perfect.
Love that.
I love that. Okay. And with that, the spirit dissipates and almost like smoke, as it is dispatched, and I get to roll on another table. So I did the Glory Fades table last time, so let's do the Gods Laugh, because I think that also sounds really cool.
Ooh. The gods, they're laughing. They're tee-hee.
The gods, yeah, they be laughing. Alright, so I rolled a 3. Oh, okay, so this is gonna be one to decide amongst the table, like who wants to take this, but a memory that a skeleton had previously regained slips away and is lost forever. Which one?
I'll take it. I'll forget my name.
No! Oh, that
I
one
will-
hurts.
the second the spirit dissipates, my stature goes from being very proud to slumping over underneath the weight of this sword as I drag it back to my resting place, unsure of what just happened.
Oh man, a name and kind of the skill that was held with it, the confidence that was held with it dissipates almost like the smoke of this ghoul that was just here, as the memories slipping away into the air. It's so sad.
I know.
Oh,
We're so proud of him.
oh,
He said it so boisterously like 3 times.
I know. My heart.
Sir who? What?
Okay.
Let it be
And
known, it's
that.
only been almost under an hour, and we've already almost made Hecka cry twice. I think we're doing great. And proud.
Yeah, y'all are doing so good. I love narrative games like this. And that actually in part 1 of this. We now have part 2. So part 1 was called The Unsealed Tomb, which has now
Aw.
been somewhat sealed by part of the hallway getting caved in. But now we enter the Time of Dust, which sounds so spooky. But okay. So now we'll roll for how much time passes since you all have been called to rest after this encounter. So all right. After this, the next thing that you all will awaken to, um, you'll see that the stone is much older, maybe even a decade older than before. A decade has passed as we have our next intruder, which I'm also going to roll for. Um, okay. This one's really interesting. I like this whole bunch. Um, you all are called by the same echoing voice. A intruder approaches. Skeletons awaken. As you all shamble out of your crypts, you see in the hallway um, a pair of normal looking mortal people. Except they're shrouded in dark clothing. They seem to have various adventuring accoutrements on them, especially things like various sacks and things to hold other things. And you get the idea that these look like some type of like rather experienced tomb robbers. Um, but um, and they seem to be working very well as a team until they see a bunch of sentient skeletons shambling out of the crypt. Um, what object out of everybody's accoutrements catches their attention?
I think I have some sparkly jewelry or something with me. You know what? No,
Okay.
no. Can I change the? I have there. It's not on my skeleton. It fell off. It's like a tiara. It's really sparkly and got too much tiara. I don't. I can't speak today. Shiny,
You're doing
sparkly,
good. You're doing
Words are hard sometimes.
What are words?
lots of sparkly, shiny, fancy things.
Nice. This is things that they see on us that would pique their interest. I am a floating moon. No. No. Besides that being a weird thing to see on a skeleton, me personally, I would run away. They see I imagine they see the bracelet with the moon charm on it, and if these are experienced tomb robbers, they would probably recognize it as the that specific charm to be the holy symbol of the goddess of the moon.
Artemis?
That, you know, if that's the one in life, that's sure their name.
Artemis, Diana, Luna, all of them are the
There
same.
are many at this point.
What's the name of
Choose
the,
one.
what's the name of the girl in Avatar who becomes the moon? That
Oh my god, yeah.
UA,
My
yeah.
girl in the moon. Oh, that's rough, buddy.
That's rough. That's specifically that charm.
Amazing.
Yeah, these. Oh, I mean, like it. Yeah, all of you can choose something, or it honestly doesn't matter how many of the things.
I was going to say that my name, not my name, but my sword, Asmodeus would have named his sword. Is it like my sword has a name that's been carved into history. I currently don't know what it is, but if they are experienced adventurers, they would have recognized my rusted, blood-stained sword is that of Sir Asmodeus.
Okay, I love that. Yeah, they see that, you know, you all aren't your standard run-of-the-mill dungeon skeletons. You first are sentient skeletons, and two are skeletons that have things that they possibly want on them, and are going to pull out various daggers and other blades to try to engage in a combat with you, in order to acquire these items and get some coin. Um,
Do you
so
know who I am? Good, because
they
I
do
don't.
though. No,
I don't.
no. Oh, so sad.
I step back behind Sir Asmodeus with an instinct.
I raise my sword on instinct, but not in the same stature that I had when fighting the Spectre Knight.
Okay. Is there anything anyone else is doing before they?
So the question I'm going to do is, what by name did you earn in life that describes your greatest accomplishment? And it's not, it'll describe it, but can I do what she's going to do?
Absolutely, yeah.
So on the tiara and on the thing, it says Florence the wild, no, Florence the Briar or something. I don't know, but wait, I did know. I knew this, and I forgot what I was going to say.
You got this, I believe in you.
The pokey things that thorn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Florence the silver thorn.
Okay.
Oh,
And you see
good.
Florence take up the silver sword because, you know, these annoying adventurer robber types are trying to steal their stuff and mess with her sleep. You know, she needs her rest. So she's gracefully going to grab, like she's done this a million times and done lots of fencing. It's called fencery with her.
Because it's fancy. It's
Yeah.
nothing but make it fancy.
Yeah, and she draws her sword and just kind of looks kind of defensive with it. Is it defense? Yeah, like she's defending the tomb.
Can I my thing as I raise up the sword, it is grossly faded, but there would be a crest on the on my tattered red cloak. It's been moth eaten and whatever. What remains is recognized. I would have been Sir Asmodeus the Red, It is said that my cloak is dyed red with the blood of my enemies.
Yo, that's cool. That's very cool.
And that is
I
my vibe.
love that.
Got red and silver thorn. You really want to mess with us, kids?
I know, it's just like so many titles. I'm gonna be very interested in the previous segments of like how so many titled people in life like all got to be in one crypt. I think that's gonna make for really interesting stories.
I will say, I guess my character will seeing if they still approaching as these two like okay. I sort of wanna as I've stepped back sort of behind these two, um, I'm holding my mace. And again, there's no like fear, that any sort of energy that radiates to them isn't fear. It's it's just a general neutrality towards the situation, a general sort of calming that is meant to sort of go over the people protecting them. And they're going to flash a sort of their little head is going to do a small like glow, and it's going to glow red, and they want to send out essentially the thought of danger to the two approaching,
Ooh.
as sort of like a almost like a warning call. So they just get the sort of the feeling of a danger, sort of like a fight or flight sort of feeling, sort of suddenly like pushed down on them.
Mm-hmm. And you see this like across whatever is left of their faces that you can see that isn't covered by cloth of any kind. And in their gait as they hesitate for a second or two. Until one kind of like looks at the other and, they exchange glances but then nod in unison again as they are going to try to engage with the two of you. Well, the three of you, because you all are close enough together. Um, but yeah. Who would like to fight them? Like, who is um in
Florence.
this one? Yeah, this is like Florence is one. Okay, perfect. Because at least for this paragraph, I'm asked, can they fight? These guys can fight. And then everyone answers one question, which we already did. The killer or killers, if you are planning on doing that, or you can just make them go away. Either one. We can handle that narratively. I have no problems with that. But whoever does so, can answer too.
Mm.
Yeah, I will take on the bigger one. If that's all right with Florence.
Yeah.
I'll take on the bigger one, and yeah, I'm not called blank the red for nothing. So let's let's go. Yeah, I'm gonna try and kill a guy. 'Cause how dare.
Yeah, what I think they didn't exactly anticipate was the undead vigor that each of you possesses. They eventually, in their mortal forms, become fatigued as you all just continue fighting and are continuing able to fight despite any cuts they may inflict on your bones. There's no taking you all apart, especially those of you who have metal as part of them, for their various accoutrements. And you all two of you are able to take down these tomb raiders.
I have a
What
quick question.
sure.
Ha.
What kind of loot do they have on them?
You can, yeah, that's a really good question. I'm gonna just kind of shoot from the hip here. I'll say that they had been to other parts of this, kind of extensive system of caves and tombs, way beneath this tavern. Um, and yeah, they have various gold coins. There are a couple look like chalice like things. There are, let's see what else. A couple gems. Yeah, I'll say there are a couple gems in there as well. There are quite a few shinies that they got before this, and just kind of one sack. And they had, brought a bunch in to get some of the bigger items that you all were holding.
So am I allowed to loot the intruders?
Sure.
Sorry.
Beautiful. No, I love that.
That's amazing.
Sorry,
I love that a whole bunch. Yes, the monsters are looting the
The
adventurers.
monsters are looting.
I love that a whole
How the
bunch.
turn have tabled.
That's so good. But yeah, as Silver Torque, or now we know the Silver Thorn, is scooping up these remains and kind of like sweeping them into their crypt. What was the skeleton formerly known as Sir Asmodeus answering with this? I know, it's so unfortunate.
With my enemy slain, I return dutifully to my resting place, dragging the sword behind me. Now fresh, now covered in fresh blood.
Yeah. Okay. So now I get to choose on the glory fades or God's laugh table, and I think I'm just gonna alternate them again because I think that's cool.
Can I do one thing before we
Sure.
advance to the next couple of millennia? Okay.
Sure.
Couple of
we wake up 10 minutes later. Okay. No. I would like I will as these two are going to their crypts, I would like to have not taken, but like as the Silverthorn, as Florence was sweeping these gems, I think any that were left over, I sort of bundled up, and there's a little like almost like a hum of a glow that goes from the rings this time around their moon, and it's sort of like they enter this sort of state where suddenly they for a second look a lot more like there's more there's less jitteriness in their step, and they're moving more like an actual person, and in their movement it's almost like they begin redoing I'm gonna get this like re-following a memory, and this is not, I will say this is not answering oh actually this works, this sort of works in a weird way. They sort of, there are these flashes of a time, and it's almost like they're following the path of this memory of when they created a bracelet for Ursina, and they follow that path almost exactly, and like they're going back and forth as they're sort of doing the gems as they would do beads, and sometimes their light will flash a bit, sort of, and it's actually from their mace this time, and then sometimes from the little gem on their bracelet, and then something like a little modification is made in the gem to fit better, almost magically, and then it goes until that path ends. But that path ends with them staring at in their memory a door, but then it fades back and they're looking at a wall, and then instead the jitteriness and the sort of clunkiness of a skeleton returns to them, and they sort of walk over to the crypts of these two, of the Tattered Cloak and the Silverthorn, and they place two gem bracelets sort of at the foot of their crypts, before going to rest themselves and have their light die down once again.
The skeletons have friendship bracelets now. That's so cute. I love this a whole lot. All right, let's see what the glory fades table is going to say happens. Okay, So this is another thing to ask the table then. Um, Something the skeletons are protecting is damaged. What and how?
Something we protect is damaged.
Mm-hmm. So is there any
Um,
like particular structure? Do you think this, ancient being that calls you forth every time? There anything particular that they would have wanted you to stop people from getting to?
Oh.
I can pitch.
Mhm.
Sorry, I'm pulling up anything now.
No, you're good.
There, I've got a question. Who are interred in the seven? Why did they write this word? Niches, niches. Mm. 7 holes in the wall along the southern wall. And I was gonna say like one of those, like before we woke up, one of the raiders got into that and broke a thing.
Yeah.
I like that. Maybe it was one of the things that are like powering us or like allowing us to awaken.
Ooh,
Sort of.
so so maybe this was like a necromancer of some kind?
Yeah,
Yeah,
where it's not like the complete thing because it's like multiple of these things, but it's like one of those things where it's like it's sort of like when the power dips and then comes back. It's sort
Mm-hmm.
of like
yeah.
it has sort of that effect, maybe.
Maybe it was like a gem and they tried to pry it loose and it cracked.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
a soul gem of some
Yeah, that'd be
kind that's
cool.
like,
like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we can say that. Before this encounter happened, um one of the tomb robbers had tried to pry this soul gem free from one of the power centers that um is within this entire labyrinth of tunnels and crypts. Um there's this temporary dip in the power before um everything kind of jitters back up again. Um and it's very cool. It's not back to 100%, but it's holding together a little bit. But yeah, we'll keep that in mind. We'll keep that in mind moving forward. I like that a whole bunch. Okay. So that brings us to our next intruder and how much time passes. Okay. Then, okay. That's really interesting with this. Um, so you all are awakened again by the same echoing voice. An intruder approaches. Skeletons awaken, and as you all are shambling out of your crypts once again, you see what's left of these tomb raiders' bodies that had fallen at each of your feet. Um, from the previous encounter. They are long decayed, pretty much mostly skeleton, just like yourselves. It's been about a year since the last encounter happened. Um, there
Eh.
are. Hmm?
I was saying,
Eh, I know more and more time is passing. Um, but you all as skeletons are looking fantastic. Unlike the decay that is before you, um, as there are also various cobwebs about that have now formed as this tomb is becoming more and more unkempt as more and more time passes. Um, but in a similar fashion as the rats that had come so long ago now, there are a series of little skittering spiders coming around the ceiling and the walls. in your direction, almost wanting to make a home out of this dead end that you all reside. But that's not great for property value with our necromancer guy. So he's enlisting you all to get rid of them. Do you destroy them? Do you reach an understanding?
Can
What do you
I
do
like
and how?
can I like tap our headless one to see if they can make all that light happen again?
You do that, and they sort of, I think, actually, no, they would immediately beam to life the second there's a call to action, and so you tap them, and they sort of, their light glows just a bit more, and it has like a sort of soft little double glow, as almost like a recognition and almost like a sort of happiness at being asked to do something. Um,
Aw.
and they with haste will sort of stand in front a bit in front of the Silverthorn, almost protectively a little bit. And then they're going to see all these spiders skittering around, and let's see. Specifically, they were told to use their light. So, they hold out the hand that has the bracelet on it as it hovers a bit around their wrist, and the little moon charm on it starts to sort of pulse with the sort of almost divine energy, and with that pulse, it sort of matches their head glowing a bit until suddenly there's a very big, bright flash of light that sort of echoes across this chamber.
Very cool, and almost reflecting off of these shiny carapaces that encase these spiders. It reflects across their eyes, and they don't like that. They
Sad.
recoil again, trying to cover all 8 of them, and uh, you are all are given a brief pause before they kind of try to acclimate to it and reapproach again. Is there a question you would like to answer with that one?
Um, I think, um, I have, it's being asked to do something spurs a memory of what their name was. So it's almost as if with sort of the tapping on shoulder bone, um, it reminds them almost like as a distant voice sort of calls out, um, uh, mm, I had a name. I have a name. um, uh, Star. Yeah. Uh,
Star.
yeah. So a distant voice sort of follows that tapping, and even though it doesn't come from Florence, it sort of sparks that remembrance of Star, and Star has been called upon. Um, and so that is their name, and that is the memory that follows, until suddenly these spiders don't run away. They regain vision and then start to call back, and then there's a little flicker of uh-oh.
It's almost like syllables. You see that blink, like uh-oh.
Oh yes, that's that, yeah.
Because like a star, you did shine, but in regaining that, you kind of lost track of what you're doing a little bit. Um, what are the other 2 of you doing?
um being I see that they are spiders coming up, and like Florence when the rats came, turn back around and go back to my thing. Who do you think you I may not remember my name, sir, but I am above this. And I go back to my resting place.
Whoever I was greater than this.
No exterminator.
I love that.
Did,
Yeah,
oh, sorry.
no, I was just saying that. Yeah, that's all he's doing.
There's a lot of spiders, you said?
Quite a few. Not like an overwhelming amount of them, but enough to, you know, call or make your, your boss call upon the skeletons.
Well, I don't consider him a boss. He's just somebody that to wake up, and I
You know
happen
what?
to.
That's fair.
He's not paying me or anything. Um, so this is unpaid labor. It sounds like.
I mean, there are soldiers. There's probably ways to change that now that we brought that into the lore.
It's too many for me to just crush.
Yeah, and they're also like they're bigger. Like think like fantasy, giant spiders, not like, household giant spiders.
Oh, okay, sorry. Then I might change my answer because I was
Oh.
thinking household giants. Like
Big and
I wasn't thinking Australia spiders. I
Ah,
was
yes,
thinking
exactly.
okay. Never
Are they
mind.
to sit on?
Wait, what?
Are you picking up to
Yeah.
sit? I want to sit on one. Like it's my new spider horse.
Okay. So you approach one
Yeah.
and try to make some type of like understanding, I guess.
Yeah, like okay, you're here, so now I have a spider horse.
Okay. So yeah, you boldly approach these spiders and at first they look very threatening, like some towards the back like are shifting around a little bit uncomfortably because most things just try to avoid them or just directly attack them. They don't do something like this. Um but as you kind of like put out your hand to possibly like sit on one of these spiders, is there any particular question you would like to answer with that?
I'm not sure. Is that okay if I don't answer a question?
Oh yeah, do not yeah, with each of these encounters, like feel free to answer as many or as few questions as you want. There's no pressure to actually do it. Um
Oh, I could have introduced myself as Asmodeus the Red. Damn.
oh,
It's cool. I'm
oh,
fine.
oh yeah,
Next.
in any case you are able to make an understanding with these spiders. The one that you basically make your horse, like your spider mount, if you will. Um is seemingly perfectly fine with that. You all seem to coexist fine after this accord is made. Um, with which I get to roll on the gods' laugh table again. So let's see what the gods laugh at this. Oh, I didn't mean to roll it like that. Okay, well I rolled the same number, so it must be true.
It's
Ooh, I don't think this one doesn't really apply to the situation at hand. This could maybe apply to another one, so I'm gonna re-roll this.
okay. But you get the same thing.
No, I got the number above, so it's fine. Yeah, we'll say I like this one. Because I think this would actually go really well with Star's thing, but we can discuss as a table. Um, a skeleton's appearance is altered in some way. Perhaps they are marked by fire or magic. Whose?
Now I hate
So
you,
we can
Bill.
choose whoever's. Like that was just one that stood out to me.
I listen. I would love to jump in on this. Um, I'd love to see altered in some way,
Mhm.
like in any way.
I don't see why not. It's
think
very big.
yeah, I love that. I think because in even though it's been such a long time for them, hasn't probably felt as long as it has actually been. I feel like they've had this sort of slow recollection of specific moments that connect to memories of who they are or who they were. And I think in that we see there's a bit of a bright light that shines through, but instead of like a harsh, like blinding light, it's sort of like a calm sort of like wave that goes over everything for a second, that goes over the room, and then sort of coalesces back, and then their form is sort of just this glimmering sort of almost like glimmering shadow, this glimmering just sort of being. And then when it all fades away, you see remnants of what their clothes I think would have been. So you see they're wearing these sort of what looks like maybe a let me think about color scheme real quickly. Anyways, you see like what you would picture for maybe like a some sort of royal healer, or some sort of like, maybe not a royal, maybe like a wandering healer that's like somebody who is like heals by trade and is sort of like a case by case basis. They're wearing these sort of this sort of dark purple tunic, and a sort of symbol of a crescent moon is at the sort of front of it, and it sort of flows down to 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 their to a little bit below their waist, and it's tied by a it would be tied by a belt if they had a belt. You sort of, I like to picture it like a belt forms with it and then it falls to the floor because there's nothing to tie it. And so it sort of hangs off of her, and then there's sort of similarly colored like soft pants, and you see also falling at her feet are a bunch of these different like pouches and like with like different herbs and such, and you see as they fall almost instinctively she like picks them up and is sort of like holding them and attempts to like similarly in her crafting with the bracelets, she starts attaching them to like as like almost as like bracelets. They make like those strings and stuff to attach to their bones and hang the pouches off of them instead. And now the moon that's taking residence as their head has maybe like 3 rings instead of 2, and they sort of continue moving like a continuous circling orbit instead of being still. And
I like it.
yeah.
And this newfound form, the threat seems to have been not violently dispatched. They now are just simply coexisting with you.
They're vibing with us.
Yeah, they're just vibing. And with that, you all are called to rest once again, which actually ends our time of dust. Is going to move us on to stage 3, the desecration. But
Oh, love
before we
that.
do that, I think this would be a fantastic time to take a break. Because we're about an hour and a half in.
At the
This next
desecration.
session probably, yeah, it probably won't take as long. Yeah. Yeah,
Taking a break at
this
the
game is
desecration.
metal. Yeah, this game is metal, I'll tell you what.
Damn.
So yeah, stick around, chat. We're gonna be gone for like maybe 5 or 10 minutes before we get to the I guess the finale, the act 3 of our 3-act thing here with our skeletons. So don't go away. Check out our charity initiatives if you can, and that's about it. Michelle, if you could take us away. And welcome back. Thank you all so much for waiting, and thank you all so much for tuning in to this very special revamp of Tavern Tales as we play the Skeletons RPG. This is by, I don't think I mentioned this in the beginning, but Bully Pulpit Games makes a bunch of cool stuff. They have a ton of other really cool systems, so definitely check them out. This is by far one of my favorites by them. Hence why I was like, I need to bring this to Tavern Tales immediately. But yeah, so check them out. Check out our previous Black History Month shoutouts, and of course, check out our charity initiatives. Um, I will say this again as many times as I can on this stream. This week, we're raising money for Black Girl Ventures. Check out all the details on our social media on how to donate to our Tiltify link and all of that. This is a good cause, and guess what? It's still Black History Month, so go support. But other than that, that brings us into our third act as I put the music back on. Perhaps. Maybe it'll work.
I believe.
Aha! It does. Okay. Perfect. As we go into part 3, the desecration. I have to roll for how much time passes and who the first intruder will be in this new era.
Millennia.
I mean, that's on here. That's actually on
I
here,
know
so
it is.
maybe.
Oh, okay.
So it just might. Let's see, how many? Wait. Okay, so yeah, it is 6. Okay, cool.
So, true to making it TikTok.
Okay. So.
Guys, check out this weird ass. Thank you for coming to my live. Check out this weird ass place I found.
Oh my god, can you imagine?
And
What the
then
hell?
I'd actually.
just doing like the.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
You're a renegade.
Let's
echoing in
go.
the house. Sorry.
Oh, you are so fine. You are so fine. I love table talk. It's one of my favorite things about TTRPGs. Don't apologize about it.
Like at the places, and he's watching like TikToks instead of doing their jobs. So like some adventurers in tune, and the skeletons are making TikToks.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that's not far off from things that you would see on TikTok. Like fantasy TikTok would
true.
absolutely that would happen.
Oh yeah, dude. Like, sorry. Just imagine fantasy, but you have just TikTok and Instagram or social media in general, and it's just like, hey guys, this is gonna be my live. I'm about to go fight a dragon. Come and watch.
I might die. This might be my last moment
Better-
live on air.
I better give those donos now. They're gonna go to my descendants' funds.
I'm gonna say Casper's always fighting dragons. Needs to come up with something new.
Oh. Instant block.
So to return to our skeletons,
Yeah.
Yes. What are these skeletons doing?
Yeah, we're playing that. Remember? Yeah, the same voice is still as strong and as loud as you remember from how long it's been by now. There echoes an intruder approaches awaken skeletons as you all see these few individuals, quite a few, maybe a dozen. They don't look like they are adventurers by any means. They look a little bit more common, though. One person is standing in the front with a map, as they seem to have found this place that they were looking for. They're all hushed, talking to them before they notice that you all are staring back at them. And as you stare, there are various features about them that almost spark memories in back of your consciousnesses. you recognize something about them. You're not really sure what until you look a little closer at their various features, especially their bone structures as kind of your biggest reference at the moment. These people look like they're in some way related to you. Maybe they're descendants of some kind. Describe what you might see, and of yourself in them.
Oh, okay. So, I imagine it's this person sort of in the back that catches Stars' gaze, quote unquote. That they're sort of is their this sort of moon turns to, and you see it's this person with a very soft face and sort of soft features. They seem to be it's sort of the things that stand out the most in similarity, I think, is it's almost like a flashback to when they were moving more human-like. It was sort of like the way it's in the way they're carrying themselves that Star sort of sees himself of it. It's like it's the posture of understanding and confidence and knowing a situation and thinking on their feet that hides nervousness and fear that they've almost taught themselves time and time again how to put away or put down. For Star, it was instilled in them, but for this person, it looks like maybe this is something that was recently only they've begun to learn or begun to understand and how they process these things. It's the way this person is maybe holding the light that sort of gives light for their companions. They're in the back and they're providing a warmth and a comfort and a support to the people who will do greater things. And in that, Star also sees themselves. And there's that connection. I imagine they sort of look at each other, and it's sort of like you look at skeletons and you think, oh, danger. But maybe there's this sort of, it's hard to say softness because they're bones, but it's this sort of like aura, I guess, of softness and like calm that I think is maybe just between the two of sort of understanding of seeing each other's roles and understanding that and resonating with that and sort of yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, as you two kind of recognize each other, almost in a similar way that your your spiritual head will blink in emotions of different kinds. You almost see that same emotion in their eyes, whether it lights up or kind of gives that same recognition, same emotions. Yeah, what do the other two of you see?
You're muted if you're talking, I'm so sorry.
I was just like, are they?
Son of a monkey. I forgot I muted myself again. In the eyes of the, or in the face, I did it again. In the face of the leader, the person who led them here, the one who has the map. I think Sai, who has just contented himself as his new name, since he cannot recall his old, has recognizes a strong chin that he used to have, and a proud air around him, like a confidence that he has not seen in a long time. It touches something deep within him, that that like this bravado, this I am missing the word, but like this trait of being a leader, and taking care of folks. He sees that in the eyes of the one carrying the map.
Yeah, and you kind of take the lead as you have with these other encounters.
I do
kind of
not
does,
draw my sword.
yeah.
I want to be
Perfect.
clear, because it looks like none of them are armed. So the sword hangs limply at his side as he cocks his head, and I imagine that person also cocks their head.
Yeah, similar expressions. The same with Star's Descendants. Like you see a lot of the same mannerisms as well. In this leading individual.
So for Florence, you see a really kind of well-dressed young woman who moves very gracefully, like a dancer almost, and who is just trying to stay close to the other two, trying to look at the map. Maybe she's the type that's, trying to backseat explorer. Is that the term?
Yes.
Backseat mapper.
It is now. It is now.
Backseat navigator.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we should go this way.
Yeah, this person, I imagine, hasn't even noticed that there are skeletons in front of the group. The other kind of looking up until she realizes that no one else is talking back to her, and the bear is pointing on the map until someone else just kind of like it brings her attention to the fact that there are skeletons in front of all of them. And with that, they all just are like curious, but also very frightened because they've never seen anything like this. They're starting to back away slowly, but this voice that has called you to action again and again is, beckoning to get rid of the intruders. What do you all do?
Just to shut up the voice, I reach out my hand. It's busted. I'm like missing digits at this point. And like my index finger is still there. It's crooked and like chipped, but I point, and whatever air is in me escapes from where my mouth would be as I let out this just guttural, clacky, and creepy as hell moan, as my way of saying get out.
Ooh, I like that. It echoes across the stone, and rattles some of the remaining cobwebs from your spider companions that have long since gone over the past century. It's been a long time. The tomb robbers' bones are non-existent. They're dust on the ground, and it certainly shakes them quite a bit. They back away further and are starting to get further and further out of view. But there's still that curiosity, especially of your descendant in particular, who might be a little bit more stubborn than the others.
That one, you just like tries to do the ET finger with me, and he's got the rest of their friends. There's like pulling them back, like no, Yeah, no.
Stop. No, you don't know where that's been.
Your hand down.
Yeah, are there any questions you would like to answer with that? With this particular paragraph, you can answer none, 1, or 2 questions.
Okay. I how do I okay. 1 or 2 questions. Who here among the skeletons richly deserved this fate and why? I am going to say who deserved to be entombed and is now just the protector. I would say that I deserve to be here and why to make up for the things that I have done in my life. I during my life I was a conqueror. I was a fighter. I always was out for myself and my glory. And now as a skeleton, I am bound to protect this tomb for the benefit of someone else. So I deserve to be here. That's the only question I've got a real answer to. So that's it.
Yeah, I mean, as you let out this, ghastly sound, and as seemingly unperturbed as your descendant is, the others are pulling back to, we really have to get out of here. And the fear that you see in all of their faces reminds you of a fear that you have seen in other faces of people that you have struck down previously. The same violence and force that this voice is calling you to, but you are rebelling against. And that memory rings true. It is one that you still have. Despite not knowing your name, you know what you did.
Yeah. It's not just and like seeing that the memory that calls to mind when I look into the fear of their face in their faces isn't just like battlefields or anything. These are innocent like villages that I've raided in the name of glory for myself. So there's an echo of like just screams that like that moves me into trying to get that stubborn jackass out of this tomb before I'm forced to kill him.
Absolutely.
That stubborn jackass is also a direct descendant. I'm gonna just say that. And their face okay, so I'm gonna answer this second question. Their face reminds me of my first love. Dula, the girl who left me in the farm. Because we made up. I showed her it was a field mouse. And then I went off to battle. After, promising a life that I was pretty sure I wasn't going to deliver on because my life was greater than some small farm town. I done did her dirty. I do realize that.
Yeah. Ooh.
Centuries later, I realized
so
it.
much hurt. So much hurt.
One of my questions is, what connection do you have to those you've just killed or driven away? What memory did they invoke? So yeah. I want to say, as Florence watches the trio kind of retreat, she recognizes that the backseat driver one is most likely her direct descendant. Like she's like 80% certain, but the audience would be 100% certain.
True.
But she gets this memory of backing away from people of sorts. And it's like a strong memory.
Yeah, what did those people look like?
Um, they were dressed in I would say they were dressed in armor, like shiny armor, like they were fancy shiny armor, and with horses they were also dressed up like they were at a festival.
Okay. Um, yeah, almost the lights of their torches help invoke that memory a little bit as they dance across the stone, very similar to the lanterns of a festival, of some type of celebration that um, this should be a happy moment. But as you are looking into the face of your descendant, you can't help but feel this sad memory that was somehow linked to a threat, maybe a demise of these people with swords that you were trying to get away from. Are there any other questions that would like to be answered?
I have a thing if
Okay.
you're done, JD. Unless you have another thing, JD, I don't know.
Oh no, I don't have. I can't think.
No,
Not this round.
okay, cool, just checking. Okay. Then I also have, what connection do you have to those you've just killed or driven away? I think. It's seeing, this person who I see a lot of myself in, and I'm gonna do something a little funky. I'm gonna say, it reminds Star of two things. One, they make the connection that the other two have these other direct descendants. And then they look at the one who sort of looks like her, and she's reminded that she never got the chance to have a direct descendant. That if this is not a physical descendant, but almost maybe like a descendant in the spirit. And in that memory follows a memory of when they were tugging on the arm of Ursana, and it's sort of one of those things where it's like they're in the same position, but the location keeps changing, as if this is something that kept happening over and over again, where Star would urge or pull for Asana to stop what she was doing, or to come back, or to rethink her decision. And Ursana would always in some way say that this was her duty, or that she had a duty to perform, or that this is something she must do. And at the end of the day, Star would always stand beside her and say that she would always follow orders and do what she was told. But more than that, she would always stand with her because she loved her. And though Ursana never got the chance to audibly share that sentiment, it was through the actions of what Ursana did and the way she showed kindness to her that no one else did, the way she protected her, and the way she sort of gave that space, the space that she wouldn't give to anybody else, to give the chance to stop her, to sort of stop her rambunctiousness, or her sort of willingness to sort of jump ahead into the fray, that showed love and care. But it never brought anything. And in that, it was Star's own way of, no matter how much she pulled, Ursana would always be pulling away. And then, even in life, that happened. And that's sort of where they come back to, as they see this sort of much more panicky than she would be version of what would have been the perfect representation of a descendant, pulling back at this rambunctious person who is far too excited to to get into the mix with these skeletons and learn more. When they know that right now the job is to stay alive, and so they're pulling them away to fulfill that duty.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, you basically do see that same love shared among this group that's before you, as this is echoed through scene after scene that plays in your memory through eon after eon. It starts to fade into faces that you've never even seen before, other spiritual siblings that have all faced very similar situations and fates. As you are all interconnected by this value, this virtue that your god calls you to. But given that there are more of them, there's about a dozen of them, they do manage to separate and get the rest of them away. But with each reverberation of the moan that Asmodeus is letting out, and the voice calling to all of you to get rid of these intruders and get rid of them fast, you can still feel those scene changes as these echoes through time just keep happening and happening and happening. Cool. Are there any other questions that would like to be answered in this round? All right, if not, we can go to, what did we do? We did God's Laugh before, right? So we can do a Glory Fades. Oh, that table is so much closer now as we're going down page after page. Yeah. Yeah. This. Ooh, okay. I like this one a whole lot. Something of the skeletons, or something the skeletons are protecting, is lost. Some stolen, or simply missing. What was it?
Can I take this one?
Yeah.
Okay. The descended adventurers, they managed to get the crown.
Okay.
It's all coming together.
Yeah, I mean, one of the sneakier members, like, while that commotion was happening with so many people, if he were just close enough, one of them could have just snagged it. What is the Silverthorn thinking about that?
Wait, where's my? She is. I've got to make sure it's a. Can I revisit a question? Not change it, but kind of revisit a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. It's what thing you once owned can be seen among the bones of the would-be robbers, but they're not bones, obviously. But it's the crown. She just has another memory of being in another situation where somebody took the crown, and she will. I know she doesn't have eyes because skeleton.
Mm-hmm.
But you can kind of see like and she's wide-eyed looking at the her two skeleton companions. And, like, if it was a cartoon, you could see like the eyebrows raised.
Yeah. Maybe, like, hear me out here. Maybe a similar thing happened with stealing of the crown. Like, maybe you were crowned something at this festival that we were talking about, and something similar happened.
Yes. Yeah, and I get the memory of the dressed up people again. I can't remember what I called them.
I think you just called them guards.
Okay. Yeah.
But Yeah, the similar, like, sheepish look and kind of look of terror as, they can tell that you've noticed that the crown is gone, and they didn't want you to notice that. But before you can even really run with your leg bones, to, retrieve it, you're all kind of called back to rest again. As I'm going to roll on a new table now that we're in the third act, I get to roll on. We're gonna start with the Time Devours table because
Oh
that
my
sounds
God.
fun. Yeah, let's do it. All
Sounds
right.
like a good time.
You know.
Having a good time.
Ooh, okay. Um,
Horrifying.
yeah, something collapses, leaving a large pile of debris. What has failed?
Ooh.
What do you mean? What has failed?
I guess like a structure, like what kind of structure has failed, I suppose. Like something has collapsed and has left all this debris.
Can I take this one?
Yeah.
Okay, so the passageway that was already partially caved in, the other half of it also caves in, kind of cutting us off from the 7 like power gym things that we're supposed to be protecting on the other side of the room. So now the room is divided. We can still see them, but we just can't get through.
Oh, that's that's so much meaner than anything I could have come up with. I'm okay.
My GM tendencies are coming out.
um, yeah, something so close yet something so out of reach now. These power sources that you have been basically instructed to protect by this per the lore we're just gonna say a necromancer of some kind, some very powerful magic user that has enlisted you all into their service, but very cool. I like that whole bunch. Okay, you get to roll how much time passes and what the next thing will be. Okay. Ooh, oh, that was so close. It almost fell off my table.
Oh, I thought you
I was just like,
something else.
minor panic is like I almost lose
We're
the
all gonna
D6
die.
to the
Well,
void.
Die
To
in
the
the void.
void. Um, but yeah. So as you all are awaken once again, skeletons awaken, an intruder approaches. Um, you shamble awake once again, to see an even more just desiccated tomb. Um, even the cobwebs are long gone. Um, it looks like perhaps an entire age has passed this time around. It has been a very long time. Generations, maybe.
Taking a nap. Taking a long nap.
Yeah, that's a long nap.
That's a long nap.
Yeah, you still feel tired. You just don't get it. Um, but this group, whoever is approaching, is much louder. You can hear many footsteps. There are dozens of various people with these shovels and picks and axes of different kinds. Are just marching their way, but completely out of sync, completely out of order, not really listening to what any of the others has to say. They're not a very well connected band of people. They're just kind of there to get the coin and get out. Looks like just dozens of bandits heading your way to the various riches that have been sitting in this tomb for quite a while. Um, yeah, absolutely. They have this very avaricious look in their eyes, as they see anything that shimmers or shines. Um, what might catch any of their eyes?
My favorite. Sorry, go ahead. No,
So
no, you go ahead.
Okay. My jewels, my torque.
Yeah, did you do that? Yeah, you looted a bunch of jewels earlier. That's true.
Yeah, I've got the sword that's nice and gemstony.
Ooh, can I say like is because so if this is like an age has passed. What if it's like to them those are like long lost gems and jewels and stuff, like things
Mm-hmm.
like they haven't seen in their time and now we're rediscovering.
Yeah, I mean, anything in here, like, after an age, I would imagine is, like, something fabled at this point, like, something of myths.
Yeah, I was gonna say my fabled sword of
Yeah, like,
Sir
it's a legend at
Asmodeus.
this point. Yeah.
Asmodeus, yeah.
Mhm.
Asmodeus. I don't know how to say my own name.
Azzy.
It's not like
A
the skeleton remembers, unfortunately.
yeah,
Oh
no,
boy,
I don't
Ozzy.
remember my name. So, it's the fabled like sword of Asmodeus the Red.
Yeah.
Asmodeus. Yeah, Asmodeus the Red. There we go.
Can I say? Oh no.
Oh, I was just gonna say, in regards to the pillagers, can that spark a memory?
Absolutely.
With
With
me?
this, yeah, for all of these, you can answer none, one, or two questions. So, like, just, yeah, kind of go off with these.
Okay, so for this one, it goes back to which like who deserves to be here. This sparks a memory of just like before I went off in my search of glory, me like a one chance of me trying to be a hero. There was a bandit raid on a village as I was passing, and I'm a very young man. I think at this point I'm still in love with Dola, or I'm still courting her, and like we're going strong. And I have visions of me being a hero, a mythic hero for the people. So I hop in and start fighting all of these bandits, and like cut back to real time. I remember at least that much, to where my skeleton holds the sword, not as expertly as I did with the knight, but it has a familiarity where I like rush into battle trying to protect these villagers that no one else can see.
Oh. Yeah, so diving in headlong, just without asking any questions, or hesitating even a little bit to go and fight these bandits. Um, yeah, you remember these villagers, and you remember wanting to become a mythic hero, and it's funny how after ages of time you kind of have become a mythic figure, but maybe not for the reasons that you first set out to do. They're after a mythic sword that you possess. Mythic because you made it so. Um, and they all fight back quite a bit. They have you all largely outnumbered, but you fight on. These bandits seem a little stronger than what you've seen before, at least with the two tomb robbers that came in previously. They were professional, but maybe not fighters, but these all are definitely fighters. They have various magical protections, it looks like, on them. Their armor and various weapons are definitely of higher quality than you've seen before. But for the moment, they really aren't that much of a test against your blade. But what are the other two of you doing?
I want to go.
Go for it.
I'm also going to answer a question as I do it. As Florence sees what's happening, she just gets her blade out and she starts almost I want to say dance fighting, but it is. It's like like it was a bad movie. She would be sword fighting while dancing, but you can see where she got the nickname from, the Silver Thorn, because she's taking that blade and poking things like a thorn would.
I mean, that's really cool. Like, I almost imagine as the camera is like tracking the Silver Thorn as she is fighting against these various bandits, like very gracefully, being able to dodge their attacks, but then still almost like a thorn just kind of stick into their side and disappear just as easily. There's this maybe not a waltz, but festival music in the background as this is very familiar to you, as it's coming back to you as a memory. There's more and more pieces of you getting put back together. But yeah, ultimately makes a really cool combination of combat with Asmodeus as well.
Yeah, I've got hang with that.
Oh, okay.
Asmodeus and gets a flash of memory of him, like Asmodeus, of them both fighting side by side.
Yeah,
Oh.
as I will add on to that. As Florence joins in the fight, my fighting style goes less new kid on the block and more polished soldier. As like fighting next to her rekindles a memory of a tournament or festival, some kind of thing where I've done this before to impress someone. Someone beautiful. I remember that. Someone titled. And there was silver. What um as we like fall into sync, my attacks are more strength based, as hers are more in and out and very graceful. But I do like wide swings above just to get them right in her face as she like pokes them with her I'm assuming you have a rapier with my broadsword. So it's like strength and grace is dancing up a storm here. I'm a very clumsy dancer, but she dances around me as I'm like hacking through these guys.
That's very cool.
Then I think because I think during all of this, Star has been a bit in the back. They woke up, and the reason they've sort of been sort of in the background and staying still is because an age has passed, and with age comes new ways of life, new things that are taught, new people that are followed, and for a moment there is this concern as the sort of celestial body of this crescent shape and these rings don't come on as they stand up, and the bracelet around their wrist doesn't hover or stay in place. It starts to slip a little bit. And as the ages pass, I imagine their clothes have sort of I don't know how clothes age over time, but that's
But they're probably at the very least very brittle at this
very
point,
brittle,
if not gone.
yeah. And there's just this like dampness, almost this sort of diluted energy that sort of has come over them, as if everything they are has been everything they worship has been almost has the feeling of maybe it was almost lost. But then here they are, and with their continued belief, it eventually there's like a small glow and nothing, and then another glow, and then the little crescent shape is there again as their head. And it doesn't glow as bright as usual, and it's very diluted, but it's there and present, and almost as in their belief there is power because this belief hasn't died yet completely. And so they watch as their two skeletal friends have rushed into the battle, and just as quickly they regain their composure. And though they don't necessarily get a memory from this, they get a familiar feeling as they hold their mace out towards the crowd of people, and in the different crowds, if it looks like a crowd of people are about to overtake or overwhelm one of them at once, they suddenly get blasted by light, and not in the same light as like this is like a blind thing just to affect them, like a manifestation of some sort of magical energy that sort of suddenly shoots through the mace, almost like a spectral spike, and
Okay.
shoots up from the mace and towards those crowds to essentially break them up and impale a few people. And they're
Absolutely.
doing crowd work.
Yeah, absolutely. Because given how many of them there are, because there are quite a few, and the second that the other two think that there's going to be someone coming from behind that they can't quite get to in time, they immediately get spiked by this radiant energy. As you keep kind of the people on the periphery at bay while the other two kind of work down the entire middle of this mob of bandits that are encroaching on the tomb itself. And yeah, because I don't want to like take away any party agency or anything like that. I kind of feel like I'm gonna know the answer to this, but of course gonna ask anyway. Will they overwhelm the party or no?
We're doing amazing right now. I don't know.
Yeah, because I'm just like I have I was like I feel like the answer is no, but I'm not gonna be like oh yeah.
So I think
Between, sorry, go ahead. No, you go
right.
ahead.
with Florence, they don't overwhelm her, but there's a well, she's a skeleton, so like a stab's not going to get any flesh. But there is like one particular stab that happens that she just invokes a memory, and she just happens to look over at Star during one of the radiant moments, and just has a memory of them trying to heal her.
That's so good. You almost remember what Star's face looked like in life, as you are looking skeleton to skeleton, and remember this memory. Don't quite remember why yet that they were trying to heal you and their face was over you, but you distinctly remember that. It's kind of placing you all together in one space. The pieces are finally coming together to form a more coherent picture. And with that, I can actually roll. We're gonna roll on the God's Laugh table. We're just gonna do that real fast. Also, I'm gonna turn down this music just a little bit because it is like way in
It
my
got
ear.
really intense.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like
It matched the energy.
It's the same.
It did.
Yeah, like it's the same. The same song repeating, so I don't know why it did that.
It's
Seriously.
just it felt it
understood.
But
It understood the assignment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, okay. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Did I already do this one? Yes, we already did this one, so I'm re-rolling.
Are we all dark?
Hmm?
I'm looking at the stream. I don't see any. Oh, never mind. It was just my.
Oh no, yeah, you're good.
Oh, I was like,
What do you mean? What do you mean we're all dark? I know I'm light skinned, but like
That was loud.
I'm having I have a spectrum going.
Oh yeah, I love our spectrum. It's a
Yeah,
beautiful spectrum.
Okay. Let's see.
Sorry.
No, this is great.
Great. Great job, folks. Good job. Good
Mm.
job, everybody. Take 5.
Oh my goodness. Welcome to Neon Lights Roleplay. This is the usual. I love this whole bunch. This is why I'm here. I'm so happy to be here. Oh my god. Okay, what the fuck did I roll?
That's a great question.
Okay, this one is actually we're really getting into it towards the end, huh? The magic animating one of the skeletons, but not its compulsion to service, is beginning to fade.
Can I take this
I
one?
knew you were going to. I knew you were
Of
going
course.
Because like it goes like what area within this place am I forbidden to set foot in? Like it is not just me in here. My whole my companions, my compatriots, my men are in here, and I know that. I just can't go to them because if I was to ever cross the threshold of the area that we're in, my body would crumble into place. I am bound to this place. I cannot leave. And I feel that area of where I am free to roam shrinking. Shrinking onto my person, not even my person, onto my sword. It is not me who is cursed. I am the one who is wielding this weapon. It was a wedding gift. That is the memory that I'm getting. That this sword was a wedding gift. And I don't remember who gave it to me or who I was marrying.
Oh. Yeah, that truly is a cursed object. Oh my god. It is absolutely starting to infect the animation that is keeping you together. And you're not entirely sure like how many more awakenings are going to be left for you as this continues. Then I have one more thing. I'm gonna roll on. There are two different tables, and I haven't rolled on the World Crumble table, so we're gonna do that one too. The third act is rough. It is
Hey,
so
heck, we're supposed
metal.
to be making you cry, not the other way around. I need you to
This
get up
is
to.
the usual thing. This is the cry game. We just um okay, considering we just had a bunch of bandits come through. Although, like, I don't know, we already had something similar to this. I'm gonna re-roll because it was just like another item goes missing, but I'm just like,
Yay.
eh.
We did that last season.
The writers are running out of ideas.
Okay. Oh, I like this one a whole bunch.
That's scary.
No, let's say that given that there were so many people with these various picks and shovels and people digging in maybe places that they shouldn't have near the surface, that for a brief time, while you all are called back to rest, the tomb floods for a little bit before the water recedes again. What gets ruined or mold covered or decayed after that water goes away?
Does anybody have any clothes?
You know, I had some. they, they were the threads could get washed away.
Yeah, because like first they got so dried out, and then like maybe the water like rehydrated everything too fast and it just fell apart.
Yeah, probably. And also I think it's also because those clothes had a direct connection with their service. Yeah, I think unless somebody has something else, I would say that.
No, I like that. I also want to say at this point, I no longer have a cloak. I have a tattered scarf.
Yes, it all comes full circle.
It all comes together, baby.
It has been it's been an age, and it's this scarf, like there is no emblem on it, at all. It's literally just red around my neck.
I like
Oh, the
it.
imagery.
Yeah, the imagery.
So I want to be the opposite, and I want to say that there was a little bit of like, I don't know, fungus or lichen or something growing on my bones, and then the water washed it away. So now I'm all perfectly
Oh
clean.
my god.
You know what? I like that. I respect that.
Beautiful.
I think it would look really, really odd, especially
Yeah, in
where
comparison. Yeah, in comparison to the other two, the fact that you've had basically just like a bone bath, like
yeah,
is-
looks like magic happened or something. Like
yeah, yeah, I like that a whole bunch. That's cool. Yeah, I'll say that. And then there's only one thing left, but I do have to roll for how much time passes between those.
Another rage.
I already rolled that one. No,
It was another age.
that one was a century, which is like cool, but I like that I just rolled the highest one, so we're gonna go with this one, which is very cool.
I was joking.
I was earlier about what I said.
All these callbacks. All these callbacks.
As you all are awakened again, it's like the entire world has changed around you at this point. The stone itself has been incredibly eroded. You can't even make out individual cobblestones anymore. It's just smooth. There is only evidence of incredibly long-term processes. You don't even really recognize any of the algae that's still growing around or the mosses. All of it looks different for the most part, as an entire epoch has now passed. You are called again, but instead of a far away echo in the back of your consciousness, you hear something that is much closer, as you hear the marching of many footsteps, and in front of you, the shadows of many shapes going along the hallways, and the singular figure of someone who, the more you think about it, starts to become more and more familiar. This powerful user of magic that has called you to their aid many times before now stands before you. But instead of looking directly at you, it almost seems to be looking through you to what you happen to be guarding. The various soul gems that have been powering this entire place, as they call forth the many, as you see them fill through the hallway, undead servants that look a lot like yourself, just in various different stages of service, as yourselves, as they are ready to march past you and perhaps attack if you happen to get in their way.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, recognizing this being, this entity, as the reason that as the reason for, like, there is restitution, but then there is also an epic of my servitude in my afterlife. Like, I wasn't that bad. So
True.
I raise my sword to this being in defiance and put myself in front, like I put myself square in between what it wants and in, yeah, him in itself. I can't move very far because it's been an epic, and I'm gonna just assume that the magic has dwindled to
Yeah,
literally
it's
like a
dwindled a
5-foot
lot.
radius around me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I lead with my sword, and I hold it close to my body because I'm like, please don't let me fall apart. But if I do, I'm taking at least some of them with me. And I may not remember my name, but I am a slayer of dragons, a wooer of women, a conqueror of men. It is said that my cloak is dyed red with the blood of my enemies. Fear me, creature, for I am above you.
Oh. Yeah, the stone face of this necromancer, which you're starting to get a closer view as they approach with their many soldiers. I'm talking hundreds, if not maybe thousands of just many just swarming throughout this entire labyrinth of um magical laboratories, whatever is left to scavenge whatever may have been left behind. um and you see that stone face, which almost looks a little skeletal like the rest of you, um kind of have this flicker of recognition as this defiance is displayed in front of them as the undead soldiers are called forth to face all of you. What are the other two of you doing?
Question: is the soul gem in the area we are, or is it blocked off from us?
I would say it's pretty close to y'all because it's something that you're protecting. There was that debris that fell,
Yeah.
though, so it's harder to get to.
Okay.
I won't say impossible, because that's, that kind of sucks for a TTRPG for something to be impossible. So, it might be a lot harder to do. There might be some sacrifices that have to be made.
Okay, so the question is, who here among the skeletons is kin to you, and what is your relationship? So I'm going to look over to Asmodeus, and I'm going to recognize the sword, and I gave him that sword at our wedding.
Yo,
And
Honey, you gave me a cursed sword?
I wasn't cursed when I got it.
It's been an epic. It's not my fault.
there's an apologetic look for that. There's a look of, this skeleton has expressions. So this is an apologetic skeleton expression. Which kind of looks like a regular expression. But get a flashback of her giving the sword to him at their wedding, and kind of having this kind of look at her, scheming look, like, I don't like this guy. I'm giving you a cursed sword. But as that happens, she's going to try to get to the soul gem after apologizing.
Okay.
Okay. Is my mic good, by the way? Because
Yeah.
Yeah, we can
okay,
hear you.
great. Because it moved. I like hit it twice. Didn't think that since last time I talked. Wires wrapped around my leg. So, I think sort of following that gaze, I would also like to answer a question as time has passed of who claimed your head and why? And I no, Casper, hear me out, and you can listen. I had an idea, and now I've had a completely different idea from your expression. I'm gonna go in this way. That's even more tragic. So you see that Star follows this sort of expression, looking like this apologetic moment of looking at the sword. Sorry, looking at the sword. And it flashes back to the moment of that wedding, where Star was supposed to be the priest who sort of married the two together. However, how am I gonna word this? This is not a good time for Star. This is a time of grief in her life. This is a time of where her true loyalties and what it meant to her to be loyal and what it meant to always follow orders was tested. It was a time when she lost her Sana, and in her grief and in that loss, she was told the next day to wed these two in a loveless marriage. And for the first time in Star's life, she allowed herself a selfish thought and had essentially offered a plot to Florence to leave this marriage by having Star essentially object and deny their right to marriage by refusing to marry them. And in doing that, they did it. And in doing that, they were committing what everybody saw as a form not just of treason, but of betrayal of to who they were, of their name, and a disgrace to what this marriage would have represented in power. And for that, they were publicly executed by Sir Asmodeus the Red himself, who, out of pride, and if you correct me if I'm wrong, took it upon himself to do the beheading, even though it was originally going to be a separate hand who would do it. But because Star had essentially besmirched his pride and embarrassed him in front of a bunch of people who looked to him for power and looked to him for glory, he had to restore that glory. And that's the memory
Wow.
that Star has.
That checks out.
Yeah.
The reason of standing before them, this necromancer, and with these two women at his back, he is reminded of what caused their fury. That innocent village that Asmodeus raided and ransacked was in Florence's kingdom. It was under her charge. I won a tournament, and we were married as a form of truce between our peoples. So I got a cursed sword. And a I as Danny said, at the wedding I was embarrassed, so I had to right that wrong. Looking out, like cut to the cave, the cave that we're in. I look out and I see the faces of my own men standing between me and my enemy. And at that point, I recognize that I did deserve to spend this time in this place. As I stare at the man who killed me with the weapon that cursed me.
Yo, I want to give so many snaps to all of what just happened. I'm just sitting back and listening to all the connections you're making with your skeletons. This is amazing. I do have one question to ask then. One piece fits in, is what would the context of the memory between Florence and Star be, where Star was looking over Florence and healing them?
I'm going to say that at the village battle, once Florence realized what was happening, she got stabbed, and Star healed her, and they started to realize that they were losing, that they would make plans to leave. But that didn't happen because of one of the soldiers separated them.
Oh. I like it. I like it. Yeah, like seriously.
Someone get the
Oh.
Emmys in here.
So dark.
This is excellent.
And almost as like these different story threads and these different backgrounds begin to weave back together like this elaborate tapestry of memories, it all becomes clear to you after centuries, after ages, after an entire epic has passed. Yeah, this collection of memories has returned to you. And we cut back to the present, and I guess the last question I had to ask out of this paragraph of, what's currently happening with the necromancers and the hordes of undead, is, will this necromancer succeed in taking power over all of you skeletons? Or, as Florence was already going toward the soul gems, what sacrifices would be made to entirely resist this power that is now impending and approaching towards you?
Florence's intentions are to break the soul gem, and she realizes that would kind of kill the skeletons, including herself and her companions.
And to assist Florence in doing so, I throw myself headfirst into the men I held so dear as they tear me to shreds.
And Star, again, their active rebellion, standing out on the brink of death. They essentially they throw their mace over to Florence so that they can smash the soul gems. And whatever man gets past Sir Asmodeus, Star will be there and will, with probably no magic left, with nothing at their hands will literally just be another wall for them to have to break through. And in that is their last act of defiance. The second time.
And as Florence destroys the soul gem, her skeleton, which has been flawless so far, starts to age and get gray and dingy. The torque around her neck also turns black and tarnished. And the more she destroys it, the more she just starts to fall apart. And if she's successful, it's just a pile of pieces of bones that is left, not the beautiful skeleton she once was.
I like that. And yeah, so we'll take from the perspective of Asmodeus and Star first. The two of you know that this is a losing battle. You're not fighting to win. You're just fighting to buy time. And like you already said, Casper, these men that Asmodeus once held so dear, absolutely, with various bludgeoning weapons, with their blades, with whatever they have on them, whatever they were equipped with by this necromancer. They break apart these connections between your bones, this magic that was already fading. But with every strike that you can still give, you do your best to try to buy time for Florence. And you do buy a decent amount of time, fighting probably the hardest you've ever fought in life and in death. But eventually they get past that first barrier. And then
I just want to say, at my last moments, I will remember my name.
yes. And resounding, almost in the same lively voice that you all remember as soon as it echoes past your ears, is "I am Sir Asmodeus, the Slayer of Dragons, the Wooer of Women,
Conqueror of men, fear me, for I am above you."
Exactly. It roars past all of them as they get to the second barrier of Star just doing whatever she can to keep them at bay for a little longer, whatever magic that bracelet still has in it, whatever calling of this god still remains to be heard. And the light, this radiant energy, does its best to almost form this wall and push them back for as long as she possibly can, until that magic begins to fade, just like it was with Asmodeus, and the magic of the necromancer just becoming too strong. This dark, necrotic energy eventually overcomes Star as well, as she falls apart. Are there any memories you would like to evoke at this time?
I think in her final moments, it's almost like with each strike that hits her is a moment, a repeat of whenever she had to make a tough decision and always went with do what you were told, do what you were ordered, follow instructions. And then it's the last thing that she falls apart. It's the thought that I am Star. I am the face of the light. And I followed my own command. Are you proud of me, Ursula? And then they fall apart.
And almost inaudible, but just audibly enough among the clatter of bones marching and the clatter of your bones following, you do, in that last moment, hear the smallest whisper, a familiar whisper of, "Yes, I'm so proud of you." Oh, goddamn, okay. And that leaves the mission that Florence went on, the entire time that these two were keeping these undead hordes at bay, clamoring over the debris that kept you all so far yet so close to the soul gem that was local to your part of the tomb itself, that the life force of all of these things require that one to work. You need all of them to work. You all know this. You've been here a very long time. So as you're clamoring over it, you finally get to that section. Yeah, as you're getting farther and farther out of your specific zone that gives you this same shine, the same life, the metal begins to tarnish. Your bones aren't as shiny and pristine as they used to be, and with every step it becomes harder and harder to get there. But you're still carrying the mace that Star gave you, and you are on a mission. With the first hit, there's just this wave of energy that goes out, as it almost seemingly cuts each of the waves of undead soldiers like at the knee, and they become weaker as you become weaker. But you have to keep hitting it. If you don't destroy it, the mission's up. Everything will have been lost for nothing. You hit it a second time, and it almost seems to cut higher on all of these. The necromancer is even starting to show signs of being weakened. And as they are getting right on your doorstep, getting almost too uncomfortably close, that you think they might just be in reach to stop you, you hit a third time. It is the final time. As you look this thing right in the eyes, as the mace smashes down, making the soul gem just clatter into pieces as it's destroyed. And all of the undead hordes, even the necromancer, just become completely obliterated. It's not even the falling of bones. They just become dust that is just sent further and further down these hallways by the energy that is emitted from this gem being destroyed. Janie might, yeah? Okay, cool. Do you have any final memories in this moment? And also take your time, you're totally fine. You're totally fine. You're totally good.
Sorry, I need like 30 seconds.
Okay.
No, take your time.
No, you're totally fine. You're totally fine.
Heck, I said you were supposed to cry. I reiterated.
I was getting there in some of those first acts. Y'all were really throwing some punches in those first ones. I was like, oh, it's not supposed to happen until third act. What are they doing?
Yo.
Oh my god.
12 new messages in the DM. What is happening?
Oh. I just want to say this is why I love tabletop games, because this is an amazing freaking story. Like, holy, I am playing an asshole. Am I the drama? Is it me?
Am I the drama? Is it me, Jesus? Is it me, Jesus?
Yeah, like I was starting to get a little worried. Of course, every table is different. With this one, or the one that I played in, everyone was like gung ho with like making these connections and these backgrounds like super early, and I was like, okay, like what are they gonna do? And then y'all just like put this picture together in almost no time, and it's amazing. I was just like, oh.
High
Okay,
five.
they absolutely knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
High fives. Like that's so good.
Yeah, we knew what we were doing.
Yeah.
Right? We knew the whole
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah. For sure.
We're professionals. That's how we roll.
Yes.
We didn't come up with like I didn't make one pitch during our break, and then
We
that was
said a single sentence, and we were like, bet.
Yeah.
one single
Pretty
sentence,
much.
and all of that happened.
Yes.
Uh,
So good. Okay,
So
Jason. No, you're
No,
totally
you're so
fine.
good.
Life absolutely happened. But yeah, as you are destroying this soul gem and obliterating the entire undead horde, necromancer included, do you have any final memories?
okay, when Asmodeus is when the horde passes him, I get the memory of as we're doing the battle, and just for a moment, I'm realizing, you know what? If we'd been on the same side, it would have been we could have been great if we were on the same side. We could have done a lot. And then as the horde passes Star, I get a memory of just like making the plans together. Just like you can see a friendship memories. I know we got along really well. And as I'm doing the last hit before I crumble and the magic crumbles, it is one of Star and Florence just kind of dancing in the moonlight together. And she's about to say something as it fades away with that last bit of magic fades and everything collapses.
Oh man. Yeah, and with that, there's just nothing left in this tomb. Nothing dead, nothing undead, nothing living. Just pure silence. And with that, the camera begins to travel slowly upward again, going past the sewers that lie beneath the city and into this little underground basement storeroom of a quiet tavern. A lonely barkeep um, that looks almost like one of the first that we saw in the beginning of this adventure, but um, younger, maybe a past or maybe a future generation, um, is looking through the various stored items and is moving a barrel and next to a crack in the wall or maybe in the floor, they see what looks like this tarnished piece of metal jewelry that they pick up and look at curiously and just pocket for the time being. Perhaps we'll learn about it another time. And with that, that will end our first revamp of Tavern Tales.
I gotta go. I gotta leave. I gotta go. I gotta exit stage right. Oh my god.
I'm sorry. They're supposed to be following acts like this. You're amazing.
Hey guys, we just set the bar.
Yeah, I mean, come at it.
Take that.
This is a real good start to Tavern Tales. Is all I gotta say. Is all I gotta say. This one's up there. But oh my gosh, thank you all for tuning in for finally my GM debut. Like I've been around this channel for so long and I just haven't GM'd anything yet. So I finally have. We did it. I'm not cursed anymore. So that's good. Thank you so much to my table for joining me with this system. It is one of my favorites and you all did so amazing. Absolutely killed it. And yeah, with that, I'll do our little housekeeping items first. Make sure to check out our charity initiative. We're still doing that every single week of this month. And maybe word on the street, we're gonna do something similar for next month because next month is Women's History Month. So stay tuned for that. It's gonna be great. But yeah, other than that, my Black creator shout out for this stream is Burrito. They are a TTRPG creator, just a content creator in general, that does amazing cosplays and has been an amazing actual plays, fantastic GM. Just go check out all of the stuff that they do. Um, they have a merch store that I already plugged in the beginning, but they have amazing merch, Skull Fem merch. If you like Skull Fem kind of stuff, go check it out. Um, Definitely go support them if you can. Um, and other than that, let's just go ahead and do sign off. So let's just go in the same overlay order, starting in the left corner with Danny. Where can people find you? What kind of stuff are you in? What do you got going on?
I was ready this time. Hi, I'm Danny, or Danny's Corner pretty much everywhere. On Twitter, I'm at Animated Pizza, and Twitch, I'm Danny's Corner. On YouTube, I am Danny's Corner, except there's actually an apostrophe because, then people don't say Dennis. um, anyways, it's okay. It's funny. No, but hi. You can find me pretty much at those places. I do art. I do my own little variety streams. We have a good time. On Wednesdays, every other Wednesday, you can find me here on Stardust Ghosts. We play in a very anime-inspired mecha war campaign of understanding war and how it affects us and affects our characters and how we live through it with these connections and bonds we build. It's pretty great, and you should watch it.
Yeah, definitely straight.
Definitely
Mm-hmm.
so straight.
So
It's very
straight.
Oh,
straight.
yeah.
It's very,
The
very straight.
straightest game I have
The
ever played.
straightest. Me too. I truly like. I mean, oh, well, was I a lesbian flag fly around? Sorry. Anyway, it's so straight. um, it's not. It's not. It's very gay. Anyways, and on currently Fridays, but on a maybe date change to be determined, you can find me on Cybernation's Uncensored Monster of the Week Ghost Hunters, where we play a gang of ghost hunters who have been hired by a really rich dude to capture 12 ghosts so he can gain immortality. Um and once we get to the end, we'll figure out if we actually give that to him. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. And yeah, besides that, yeah. Besides that, tomorrow, I'm an admin for an all lesbian gaming group called Hearth Guilds, Hearth Guilds on Twitter. And we're hosting a charity event.
Just now hearing about this.
I said this on
So
stream earlier. What do you mean?
you didn't
were
say you were
there.
an admin. Anyway, whatever. You know what? Fine. I'm gonna let you finish.
Thank you so much. um, but yes, we have our charity event tomorrow supporting Black in Appalachia. So if you can, be sure to check our Twitter so you can see the schedule for the streams that'll be happening for during that. And if you can, be sure to donate. And if you can't donate there, be sure to, if you can, donate here because Lights Roleplay are hosting some good charities for during their streams, and they deserve love and support for giving love and support. And yeah, okay, I'm gonna stop talking.
No, keep going because that means I don't have to go because I'm really bad.
Okay, you're so right. Okay, let's go for another 30 minutes. I got you. Okay.
I mean, we can save you for last, Janie, if you need more time.
No, you give me all the time in the world. I still am really bad at this whole self promo thing, telling you that I'm working on and who I am. So I'm actually a skeleton ghost. I just don't look like a skeleton because I got a magic Coke can that I drink out of.
No commit.
I drink out of the Coke can and I just, become fabulous. So
Yeah.
Lord.
Well, tell you what, I'll be a little bit of your personal secretary here. Go follow Janie on the handle that you see on your screen. It's there. It's still the same thing. And you can find her a bunch of stuff over here, and in Singularity Roleplay, and just a whole bunch of places. So stay tuned.
You have
Yeah.
games, let me
Yeah.
just sign up for them. If they're at the
Yeah.
same time, don't worry about it. I'll just set up 2 different things and I'll figure out a way to play both at the same time.
Yeah. This split your consciousness. Let's have like two, or make a clone. Yeah, there you go. It'll be great.
Three at a time. I could try 3 at a time.
Yeah.
I could see it, I believe.
I'm like, and with that, we go over to Casper.
Hi, I am Casper the NB Ghost. I am a Black Cherokee Sapphic writer of sci-fi, fantasy, and horror. I created a lesbian werewolf scripted podcast series called How. You can find it anywhere you listen to podcasts. All right, now I'm about to do my schedule. My current schedule is on Mondays at around noon. Neurodivergence willing, be willing. I stream on my own channel on Twitch, where I treat Twitch as my body double or my accountability buddy. For it's Twitch at Casper the NB Ghost. On alternating Wednesdays, I'm in Stardust Ghost with Danny. I play Doc, who is basically a Southern Frankenstein, but with mechs and not humans. Anyway, and yes, as we've stated, this is the straightest game. On Thursdays, I'm on the Initiative Order's Gone Ghost, which is totally not a Danny Phantom Monster Hearts 2 miniseries, where I play Amber, the rockstar siren. Um, Amber. Amber with an A. Yeah, that's the last episode of that is coming out on March 2nd on Friday. Yes, Friday. I GM Cyber Nation Uncensors Ghost Hunters. It's a Monster of the Week prequel of 13 Ghosts. If you didn't get it, on Saturdays I will be on, not this week but next week. I will be on TTRPG, playing a Lancer miniseries called Solstice. I'm going to play my call sign is Zombie, and my mech is named Godkiller.
Well, that's cool.
This Saturday, though, you can catch me GMing on Tabletop Titties, where I'm GMing February Fable. It is the second half of our D&D 2-shot, where it's basically D&D but Beauty and the Beast. And then on Sundays, I'm on Pluto Cleric's channel, doing Weird Frontier, which is a homebrew Starfinder campaign where I play Stella Lupin, who is the captain of Siren's Echo. I totally did not base her character off of Starwolf. That's currently everything, I think. You can follow me for my schedule and support me on Ko-Fi, or hit me up at startplaying.games, because I like to be everywhere. I'm everywhere at Casper the NB Ghost, except for Twitter, because now I'm Casper the NB Wolf, but it would be Casper DANB Ghost or Casper DANB Wolf, all one word.
You do
You
so
did it.
much.
And hey,
Keep things
everybody.
busy. Sorry, go ahead.
You're totally fine. And hey, everybody, it's me, Sir Heckelette. I've been your facilitator for tonight. You can find me on all of the social medias at Sir Heckelette, including Twitch, Itch, Twitter, Instagram. I'm everywhere. Just find me. It's the best place to figure out where I'm going to be in the TTRPG space next, because my schedule's a little wonky right now. But tomorrow and typically every Saturday, you can find me over on Indoor Adventures playing the 1986 West End Ghostbusters system. It has been super fun. My character got like ghost zapped or whatever, so I like have like this sixth sense right now, so it's like real weird, but pretty cool. Starting on this coming Tuesday and every other Tuesday, you can find me right back here for Gelgalim, the Yiddish fantasy, which is a Rogue 2E system. Janie's gonna be there too, and it's going to be so fun. I'm so excited for this campaign. Y'all aren't ready. It's awesome. There's gonna be like tarot add-ons too. It's gonna be super cool. On this coming Wednesday, March 1st, you can find me over on Lost Caravan RPG for the finale of our Icon campaign. It has been so fun to play, and if you like Blades in the Dark mixed with Lancer, this is your system. Check it out for sure. On this coming Saturday, or not this coming Saturday, this coming Thursday, you can find me on Dat Magic Juice's channel playing an All Hail the Queen, a Tyranny of Dragons campaign. On starting the 16th, you can find me over on ESP TTRPG playing in the Old Margrave. It's an all himbos campaign. It's gonna be great. But that's gonna be on alternating Thursdays. And then whenever the two resume, there's some scheduling stuff going on right now, but you can find me back here for Oathsworn every other Monday and Cold Hands Warm Hearts every other Friday whenever those end up happening again. So yeah, I'm in a whole bunch of stuff. Just find me. I'll keep that brief. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in so much, and I think this is the correct time to say goodbye, chat. Have a good night. Take us out, Michelle.